Chapter 16. Rewards of Sacrifice. The riches to be found in the greater world can never supersede those found within the arms of Estolia, in the bosom of the temple placed securely within Mount Estoliana. Fernando Gilmer Zakarian, Capítulo 75. At the ball, Melanie danced with each of the Zakarian men. Theo danced with her after Sebastian's proposal. "Has my cousin made his intentions known to you yet?" he asked her. "He's asked me to be his everything." In Estolia, Melanie, a man is blessed if he consummates his future union upon the eve of his 30th birthday. 7 days later he marries her, and his are the greatest of all blessings. He will try to seduce you tonight. Melanie didn't know how to respond to this man. "I speak with you about this not to cause you embarrassment, but because it is important that you understand his frame of reference, the beliefs that are a critical part of his self-identity. Each Estolian is given great peace when difficult decisions are made and the result is pleasing to deity. Sebastian felt profound peace when he abdicated. He knew you were the only woman capable of keeping his soul." He stopped dancing and placed his hands on her shoulders, saying, "Sebastian will only know happiness if you promise to walk through life as both his partner and his wife. Have faith in him and in yourself." Before she could respond, Theo stepped back a pace, bowed to her, and then turned and left her side. A touch on her elbow caught her attention. It was Sebastian's younger brother, Gregory, taking her into his arms to continue the dance with her. "My brother is a very lucky man. But he abdicated because of me. And I shall be grateful until my dying day. If he did not abdicate, I would have been forced to be keeper, a role for which I had no aptitude. The only job I was less suited for was king. When Sebastian abdicated, I was given the freedom to do the same. You will never know how profound the peace from deity that washed over me upon making that monumental decision." Amused, she observed, "Your family is peculiar. Ours is the most blessed nation in the world. I know you will bring my brother the happiness he deserves." His confusing response resonated within her. The celebrations were almost over when Leo asked her to dance. "Does it bother you that I've made Sebastian abdicate?" she asked him. "I did not grow up expecting to be king, but my father tells me that it has always been my destiny. You merely showed him the pathway." Sebastian, with a flourish, cut into his cousin's dance, saying firmly, "This is my dance, cousin, go back to your lovely bride." Melanie melted into Sebastian's arms. They felt so right around her, holding her. She was disappointed when the music ended and the musicians began packing up their instruments. Would he really seduce her? She was disappointed when he escorted her back towards the tower guest suite. When he guided her down one of the wide hallways, her pulse rate increased, especially when he opened a set of double doors and led her into a suite of rooms. A luxurious bed was barely visible through a half-open door. She held her breath, and her heart felt like it was leaping in her chest when she focused her attention on him. "Will you be mine, Melanie? Body, self, and soul? Will you give yourself to me?" She could never be happy apart from him. With deliberation, she pulled her hair to one side and presented him with her back, hoping he would see, in that one simple action, her acquiescence. His sharp intake of breath was the first indication that he had received the message. His fingers were cool on the nape of her neck, as he brushed a few stray strands of hair to the side, and began to fumble with the hook and eye fasteners, the laces and zippers. She shivered in reaction to the kiss he bestowed on her shoulder as he pushed the dress down off her body. Eve must have felt like this, she realized, powerful and in control. He unfastened her bra, freeing her breasts. His touch was like gossamer silk, a brief tantalizing moment of intimacy before she heard him step away from her. He was undressing, and she watched him, fascinated. Once his shirt was draped on the back of a nearby chair, she admired the structure of his body, the muscles rippling under the skin, the scattering of golden hair on his chest. He paused when the only clothing left was a pair of briefs. "Your soul entices mine, Melanie. I love you." He took her into his arms and kissed her, igniting an inferno of passion, a tumultuous tsunami of touch and taste. Their last items of apparel disappearing in a flurry of kisses and caresses. Will you be mine forever? Sebastian, there is no other man for me. I love you. Forever sounds like heaven here on earth. He kissed her again, their bodies merging. He paused only a moment as he encountered the innocence she had denied possessing. Her legs locked around his hips, his thoughts were muted by the sensations flowing through him. Together, they experienced the most profound blessing that came with the promise of Zacharias. Afterwards, Melanie rested against his chest. He knew, now. She had lied about her wild youth. Would he reject her for that lie? A lie which caused him to give up his crown. His voice was thick with emotion when he said, I knew you were the only woman I could ever love, I was willing to forego the blessings promised. He crushed her close to his body. They have not been denied to us. I shall never be able to properly describe the sweet sensation of your soul taking mine into its keeping. In all the capítulos, not one Estolian has ever properly explained what it meant to give one's soul into the keeping of their spouse. I never should have lied. No, Melanie, deity inspired you to tell me the one thing I needed to hear to know I could not be king. I was never meant to hold the office. But I was always meant to give my soul into your keeping. Had you told me you were pure, I might have tried to defy the promise of Zacharias and install you as the future queen. No, we have been guided by deity so our choices would be clearly defined. You aren't mad at me? She asked in a small voice. No. I am grateful you were receptive to the promptings of deity. Our historians will always look upon this event as further evidence of the continuing presence of deity in our lives. Sebastian looked at the clock in the bedchamber. He climbed out of the bed, opened a chest to pull out a bathrobe. After he shrugged into it, he handed her a long nightgown. If I know my uncle, he and Theo will be visiting us in about 5 minutes.